The Cataclysm is coming. As Deathwing, one of the 5 elemental aspects and leader of the Black Dragonflight, returns after a nap in Deepholm, the world we've played in for the last 5 years is all about to change dramatically. We answer your burning questions about the upcoming World of Warcraft expansion, Cataclysm. Sagacious Teen wants to know, what are they doing to lure back old gamers? Blizzard's a crafty bunch. Their business model relies heavily on not only keeping you paying to play, but in doing so developing your characters and seeking out new loot. That said, in addition to the free content patches they roll out periodically, they like to keep their players wanting new stuff to play with. Whether you gave up at level 60 because you couldn't find a spot in a 40-man raid, or you've continued to play since vanilla WoW, Cataclysm represents one of the biggest changes to the game to date. The old world of Azeroth has been completely physically deformed. The Barren's now almost unrecognisable without its grassy plains, and replaced by a giant lava lake. Coastal areas like Darkshore have been destroyed by the elements, while Desolus has traded in Kodo bones and sand for lush, verdant foliage. Nicosaurus Rex asks, the new race for Alliance seems a little forced and boring, whereas the Horde gets the Goblins, possibly one of the most interesting races in the game. How do they compare with each other? Well, Nick, boring is a personal preference, but the two new races, Worgen and Goblin, are very different experiences. Rolling a Teen Wolf starts off with Gilneas, a small town near Silverpine Forest. After a hairy curse spreads through the city, the isolated population rejoins the Alliance. The first 10 levels have you running around the city in human form, saving trapped citizens from the raging civil war, and mending some old friendships. There's still the trademark Blizzard feel about it, but it's pretty serious compared to the mischievous fun of the Goblins. By comparison, while you're off shooting flesh beasts and finding missing kids and crates on the Worgen side, the Goblins are so tongue-in-cheek you're practically French kissing. After zapping a few lazy trolls working in the mines to adjust their bad attitudes, you get a pimped out ride you use to drive around the city, beeping the horn, blasting the stereo and running over looters. After kicking the winning goal and punting a bomb into a nearby volcano, you head to a fancy poolside party, plying guests with booze, music, and taking care of the ones who've had a little bit too much to drink, all to win their favour. Not everything goes to plan, and after fighting off a wave of pirates, you need to get your hands on $1 bazillion to escape the quickly disintegrating island. As well as adding 2 brand new races, Blizzard's also opened up new race class combinations, allowing for Blood Elf Warriors and the oft-requested Gnome Priests. Zygorix wants to know, will we ever be able to return to the old world once it's been revamped by Cataclysm? Will any new low-level dungeons appear, or old ones be refreshed? The physical changes to Kalimdor and the Eastern Kingdoms that come with Cataclysm mean that old quest lines have been reworked, giving even the longest and most loyal WoW players a chance to experience a new game while leveling up from scratch. Likewise, flying mounts will now finally work in Azeroth, saving the long ground runs associated with visits to old content. Like the recent rebirth of Onyxia, Cataclysm will also bring with it the chance to revisit old content in some new ways. Heroic versions of classic dungeons like Deadmines and Shadowfang Keep are on the way. Death Jester asks, what's new for leveling players in Cataclysm? Well, Death Jester, in a word, plenty. Regardless of whether you're rolling a fresh tune or working your way towards the new level cap, the 10 level bumps of yore have been cut in half. Blizzard says that they've raised the maximum level 85 in hopes of getting players into the content they really want to play, Endgame. It's not all about guild membership and raiding, and a new secondary skill, Archaeology, has also been thrown into the mix. The talent system has been overhauled, limited to 31 points, while spell power, weapon penetration and MP5 are all getting a fresh coat of paint. The biggest class change is removing mana for hunters, replacing it with focus, acting more like rogue energy, and going back to one of the game's long forgotten concepts. And finally, Paul939 wants to know, will they make it free? Yes, this is the most stupid question ever asked. You know, Paul, this might not be as stupid as you think. Blizzard is rolling in the dough, lighting its cigars with trillion-dollar bills, with around 12 million players a month paying $15 to kill pixels and have role-playing cybersex in the Deep Run tram. But that doesn't mean they're always going to charge their players, especially in the face of stiff competition coming from free-to-play MMO games in the West. This year, World of Warcraft lead designer Tom Chilton suggested that the game may go free in the future if a free product challenges their giant market share, or even if they've launched their next MMO. Is something likely to overtake them anytime soon? We'll have to wait and see, but don't rule out free WoW just yet. In usual Blizzard style, the World of Warcraft Cataclysm expansion doesn't have a release date locked down just yet, instead rolling out the old chestnut that the game will ship when it's done.